In economics, inflation is a general increase in prices. As inflation goes up, the purchasing value of our money falls. And that's what's happened over the past year or so. Inflation over the 12 months to January 2022 was 4.9%, the highest it's been since April 1993, when inflation reached 5.7%. The latest inflation figure will also be the one to affect electricity bills, with these to be adjusted in June's budget in accordance with January's inflation rates. Prices have gone up across the globe. In the UK, the Chancellor Rishi Sunak has announced measures to tackle what he called the cost of living crisis, following mounting pressure.
So already the Bank of England are trying to deal with inflation to try and bring inflation pressures down, so that's the good thing. Bad thing, of course, is that it's not so good for borrowers, but it is very good for savers. So if you do have, for example, a mortgage with a floating rate, then you will start to see some higher costs there to your monthly bills. But I think on the whole, inflation should start to drop, and we're expecting inflation to drop to about 3% in 2023. And a similar level in Europe.
Food and durable household goods have gone up the most in the last quarter. The boom since lockdown has seen transportation costs rise with demand, and the crisis in Ukraine has added to this. A local supermarket owner told GBC the price of oils and grains have gone up very significantly since the war. He described Russia and Ukraine as the breadbasket of Europe. He said that as a result, vegetable oil, priced at around £1.10 last year, is now £1.80. Locally sourced loaves of bread have gone up by over 30% per loaf, he told GBC. He said that Brexit has created further costs, as a lot of food now has to come by sea. A container by land would have cost £2,500. By sea, it costs £5,500. Complications with the importation of certain items, particularly those of animal origin, have also resulted in less selection on our shelves.
I've came to Morrison's here, and it's like 3 times the price as the Morrison's I'm at home.
Some people are quite struggling with the price raise, especially for the petrol, I suppose.
It's so much more money, so much more. You actually, when you walk away, you think every time I come in here, I'm spending like £60 on just minimum stuff.
The fresh food is definitely more expensive. The chickens, you can hardly get chickens, and any imported locally are double the price what we pay normally.
In the UK, supermarkets are trying to combat the cost of living crisis by cutting staff costs, squeezing suppliers, introducing further saver products, and reducing product quantities. Investors across the globe have speculated there could be a global recession.
In Europe, particularly Eastern Europe, Turkey, maybe even Germany, may see negative growth at some point this year because they're very reliant on gas and oil supplies from Russia. And those elevated prices, of course, are going to be putting a squeeze on both the businesses and private sector and consumption in those places. Generally speaking, we think that Europe will avoid recession and the UK will actually grow at around a 3.5% this year and slightly lower next year. So we would imagine that will be a similar factor through into Gibraltar.
The Chamber of Commerce says central banks have raised interest rates in the last 2 quarters in an attempt to stem inflation, and this has stimulated calls for wage increases. It says that if employers succumb to these calls, then this would add further to inflationary pressures. The annual cost of living adjustment for government employees and civil servants has been frozen at the last 2 budgets. In January, the Minister for Economic Development, Sergio Bossano, said that a pay rise for the public sector would not be possible for some time. The GGCA's Wendy Cummings said that lower-grade members were feeling the pinch. The Chamber of Commerce say that once inventories come back into alignment with demand levels, price increases should start to fall. Till then, households will be conscious that their money doesn't go as far as it did a year ago.